Hello friends, this is a practical number 7. So in this practical, we need to perform an ADO.NET application which will insert a record into a database as well as delete a record from the database using dynamic link libraries as well as a front-end application that is ASP.NET. Now, this practical is divided into 3 points, that is creating a database with the employee table. Second phase will be creating a project for employee DLL, which will be your dynamic link library. What is a dynamic link library? Dynamic link library is a separate project or an application which will include functions as well as the data which can be called on a different application. Now, third phase will be create ASP.NET application for inserting or deleting a record. So these 3 activities we need to perform in a single practical. So I guess all of you have executed your practical number 6, where we have already created an employee table in the database MCADB. So let's create a procedure for inserting an employee as well as a delete procedure for deleting an employee. So I'm just directly starting with creating the procedure. So just right click, create a new procedure. Delete this template. So I'm writing a procedure, create procedure sp insert employee. Provide the parameters, let's say employee ID. Second parameter is employee name. Should be varchar. So let's take only 2 fields. And here you can write insert query, insert into employee values @employee ID and @employee name. So let's execute this procedure. Procedure is completed successfully. Now similarly, we'll create a procedure for delete employee. Now delete employee will require only one parameter because we are going to delete a specific employee with its employee ID. So the query will be now delete from employee where employee ID equals to @employee ID. So here whichever employee ID will be there, that employee ID will be passed as a parameter and can be assigned to a specific column value in the delete query. Let's execute this. So I think employee ID, okay, it's there. So delete from employee ID equals to @employee ID. Let's execute it again. So it's completed. So this is my delete procedure. So let's refresh this database or a procedure. So we'll find my insert employee and delete employee. So we have done with the first phase, that is we have done with the creating some procedures, and we have one table employee with 2 columns. Now let's come back to your .NET application where we have to create a dynamic link library. Like I said, a dynamic link library consists of some functions and some variables that can be used in the different that can be used, or you can say that can be called in the different applications or different modules. So I need to create a new project. So now I'm creating a first project in the same application as a class library. So I'm just creating a class library called as employee DLL. So this will be my class library where I can write all the functionalities, or you can say the business functions that will connect to the database. So I'll just rename this particular class with the name employee.cs. So here I can use system.data. We need to import the namespaces. So in the last session, or you can say practical number 6, I've just given you the information about the namespaces. They are nothing but they are the logical grouping of your classes. So I'll declare some variables. Connection variable con equals to null. Command for executing the SQL commands or a stored procedure. Now I'll write a business logic or business functions. Public, let's return a string variable. Insert employee. This is my business logic or function name. AMP, let's pass the parameters. So we need to compulsory return something here. Now before returning, I'll just write a try catch block where I can have extra catch block to handle the exception. Now I'll declare one variable string return value equals to null, let's say, or I'll just declare it as some variable, let's say error. Now here I can return value equals to ex dot message. Now we'll have to just write one more function called as get connection, which will be a common function for establishing a connection. So here public void get connection. So I'm instantiating con object connection. I need to pass a connection string over here. So like in last lecture or last practical, I've shown you how to take that connection string. Just select this database string, just right click properties, and you'll find this connection string. So paste it over here and just provide one more slash. So your connection is ready. Now the first step is establish a connection in the function. Then instantiate a command object, command pass. Here we are using procedures, so provide the procedure name, insert, I think employee, the name that we are given for the procedure, and the connection path. Next step is cmd dot command type is equals to command type dot. As we are using procedures, so this statement will identify the previous statement that you have written is a stored procedure, or it means it is executing a stored procedure. Next step is pass the parameters dot add. Now what are the parameters that you provided there? And stated type is sqldb type dot int. You can give dot value is equals to emp id. These values are going to be passed from these parameter values, and this will be assigned it to a procedures parameter. Similarly, for the second parameter, copy this, paste it. So here this will be my name. Now the next step is we have passed the parameters. Next step is we need to open the connection, execute the query, and close the connection, and assign some return value as a success message. Set it. And here you need to return this value as a return statement. Sorry, it's a return statement. So here instead of this you can use return val equals to. If any exception comes, this will return an exception. So this is over. So just build this DLL, right click and build. So build is successful. Now let's continue with an ASP.NET application where we need to use this employee DLL as a class library or a separate namespace. Now here in the same solution we are going to add a new project. So add new project. So we're going to add a project, a normal ASP.NET web application. So I'll just give the name as practical 7. So this will be my normal application. So in this practical number 7, we need to create a simple web form with 2 fields, employee ID and employee name, and 1 submit button. As well as we can take one more control, a label control, for displaying the message. Now see, in this solution we have multiple projects. One project is of DLL and second project is of ASP.NET application. So in this ASP.NET application, I'm just adding one new web form. I'm giving the name, let's say employee home. So this is my form. Here I'll design one employee form. So here let's take tr and multiple tds we require. Okay. Then one more tr. Let's give this as employee ID, and we need to take one text box control here, so I can take it from toolbox. This is my text box. So I'm taking, I need to take a standard control, so this will be here in standard. Standard control is, so just change the name, so txt amp id. Similarly, let's give this name as amp name. Here we require a text box. This will be my txt amp name. So basically we are designing a sample form with two fields, and this tt will be only for displaying the submit button. Submit. And we'll do one more thing. I'll take one more tr so that I can display some messages on this particular label. So this LBL is for just displaying the error messages, or if any message that comes from that particular functionality. So initially I'll keep it blank and change its full color to red, so that will be from different color. So messages that are going to display in red color. So just format this particular section. So your form is ready. Now the important thing is remain here. In practical number 7, I need to add this employee DLL. So just right click for this application, add it, add reference. Now browse it, or in the same solution you'll find this reference. Click OK. So you'll see the reference gets added in your application now. So in this particular reference, or in case employee DLL, we have a class called as an employee, and in that class we have a function for insert employee details. So in this particular form, if you see the design view of this particular form, so this is my simple form. When I'll just change the button text to submit. Now let's merge these two cells also. So I need to provide td call span equals to 2 and alignment equals to center. So see the design is now changed. Now just double click on submit button. Now you'll come to the employee_home.aspx.cs file. So in this CS file I need to just import that my created DLL. Now all the classes in this employee DLL are now accessible in this particular applications. Now let's see. You got this employee. I'm creating its object, new employee. Once you have created the object of this employee, it means you can access the functions of this employee class. Now for the submit button, I need to call the function of an object employee. Now the return type of the method that I've written is insert employee's return type was string. So lbn message dot text equals to obj dot insert. So you'll see insert employee is coming from the DLL. Now pass the parameters. Now first parameter should be an integer parameter. So I need to write convert dot to int32. It will convert the text content to a integer. Second parameter will be a normal text. So txt dot text. So there were two parameters. One was integer and second one was string. And this particular function is returning string. So whatever the string is coming, it will be assigned to label. So only thing is execute this application. Now we have this employee home.aspx in browser. So your form is executing in the browser. So see your page. Now let's insert some values. My employee ID, let's say 10019. We'll pass the parameter, let's say Vikrant. Sure. Let's submit. So here it's giving you a message, failed to convert parameter value from string to integer. So here let's change the value to, so I think we have not done a proper conversion over here. So here employed is a numeric value. Let's see here what we have passed in the procedure. Let's see the employee.cs in DLL. So this is my procedure name is sp insert employee. So let's check whether the employee name is same or not. Insert employee sp underscore insert employee is correct. Okay, this was the incorrect statement. So here I need to pass varchar. Now again build that DLL. So as your DLL is in the same solution, it will be automatically refreshed. Or if you still find it like you're not sure whether your DLL gets updated, you just select your application again and go to add and references. Just okay. Now let's execute the application again. So I'm passing the value 109 CRUD Shaka. Submit it. Yes, so your data has been saved into the database. Let's see whether it is saved or not. So select star from employee and just execute this. Yes, you will see this record is inserted. Thank you. Now, as you know, how we have inserted the record into the database using DLL and this particular function. We can also have one more function inside my DLL for deleting an employee. So I'm just referring this and writing my own function for delete employee. But only I need to pass a single parameter. I can delete it by its employee ID and change its name to delete employee. This is my procedure name that I've already created in the database. No need to pass the another parameter and just return here successfully deleted. So this is my delete function in my DLL. Save this. Now in my practical 7 I can add one more function, or I can add one more web form for employee delete. So this form will consist of only one text box with one delete button. So I'm just taking a table that I've designed for the previous application and no need to take this second employee name. I need to have this message because this is required, and also I think I've deleted submit button also. So yes, so this submit button is required. I'll change its text to delete. Just see the design view of this page. So we'll have this thing. Double click it. Now, like I said, we need to use the reference of that. Before that, I think we haven't built that DLL. So just build this DLL first. Now, just come to the AceFront application again. So I'm using employee DLL. Just check whether reference is coming or not. Yes, it's coming. Giving the name as obj equals to new employee, and here again on the LB message.text equals to obj dot, you'll see this delete employee is coming. Now pass the parameter as an integer value, so I need to convert dot to 32 this text employee to integer. So let's execute my delete employee delete page. Okay, so let's delete the same record that we have inserted previously. So click on delete. So it is giving it deleted successfully. Let's check it in the database. You see this record is present. Let's execute this. So you'll find that record has been deleted. Let's delete some more record. 102 will delete. Click on this. Again the deleted message is here, same. Execute this, 102 is deleted. So that is how we can delete the record also.